If we're looking at a polynomial, and anytime the polynomial equals 0, so let's just give ourselves a little example. If we've got a little graph here, and my graph's like this, woo, woo, woo. My graph does something like that. Anytime the function equals 0, that's here, here, and here, anytime it crosses that x-axis, that is called a 0 or a root. ACT or SAT could use either of those words. And I kind of like to just point out where those are. Those are right here. These are my zeros or my roots. Zeros or roots happen where we have x-intercepts. That's all the same. 0, root, x-intercept. That's all the same thing. And let's just cross out at the point, because this is saying that if we only had one, let's just say my y is always 0. My y is always 0 for a root or an x-intercept or a 0. Okay, if that 0 is a real number, I kind of messed it up by changing this. It's okay. We're going to just go ahead and scribbity. We're going to not worry about that for right now. Okay, so I said find all the x-intercepts of this function. What is this function going to kind of look like if the degree is 3? What's it going to kind of look like? Bloop, it's going to be something like this, but we aren't quite sure. So in order to figure out where it's crossing that x-axis, we've got to factor it, you guys. What does this have in common? What's our GCF, if you will? Couldn't we take an x out? Let's take an x out. So I'm going to say x parenthesis. What's left when I factor that x out? Minus 2x minus, beautiful. And you guys, I'm going to go ahead and say, set that equal to 0 now. Okay, then we need to factor this. And my question is, I've got a very silly way to remember how to factor these things, because me as a student, do you struggle with remembering, are we adding to -2 and multiplying to -8, or are we multiplying to -2 and adding to 8? Does that sound familiar? What I like to write, this is very silly, is I call this toot. And I write T-O-O-T, and I make like a little chart over here. And why do I say toot? Because this O, I make it look like a multiplication dot. And this T, I make it look like a plus sign. So what this tells me is whatever has the multiplication dot above it, I need two numbers that multiply to be -8, and then add with that plus sign to be this number, -2. It just helps me like keep things aligned. Maybe you just want to think of TO, 2, just to help yourself remember, we got to multiply to be this number, add to be that number. What two numbers multiply to be -8, add to be -2? -4 and a +2. Okay, so -4 and the 2 are my two values. You don't even have to make this chart if you don't think it helps you. But we're going to start with our x to get x times x is my x squared. Multiplies to be -8, adds to be -2. We're going to say -4 and a +2. Love it. So now, you guys, we've got to go find those zeros or those roots. Where does each of these factors equal 0? So off to the side or underneath this, we're going to say, all right, when does x equal 0? I got to check each of them. When does x minus 4 equal 0? And when does x plus 2 equal 0? I got those from these three factors. We're going to have 3 zeros. Is there anything I need to do to solve this one? No, x is 0. What about this one? Add 4, and what would we get on that one, Cole? Boom. And what about the last one? -2. So you guys, we have 3 zeros. Now, Cole, if you're like, I'd rather not write this step right here, Cole, and you'd rather jump to 0, 4, -2, great. I do not need to see that step. Okay, all this is saying is let's go to our graph. When x is 0, we're going to cross the x-axis. When x is 4, we're going to cross the x-axis. And when x is -2, we're going to cross the x-axis. And let's remind ourselves, if we're looking at that cubed graph, the cubed exponent, this is what my graph is going to look like. And because we have these zeros and we know it's a positive cube, I'm going to go, check this out. I'm going to go up, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to come back up. That has to be the shape. Could Audie's graph be like this? Oh, I would have just gone a little shallower on each of those. Great. That is totally fine. I don't care. If Asher's like, shoot, I was feeling a little extreme this morning, pew, pew, pew. Don't care, right? Because they all have the same general shape. Are we comfy with saying this would be the general shape of this graph? We okay with that? All right, that's all I'm looking for here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Then it gets a little bit more complicated on the next one, but let's just do the initial step. It says, hey, given this polynomial, where is the function positive or greater than 0? First, we got to know what it's going to look like. What is an x squared going to look like? What's the general shape? Good old parabola. Is it going to be facing up, or concave down? It's going to be concave up. Great. We got to go figure out where it crosses that x-axis, people. We got to go factor it. So again, because it's 1x squared, I like to think toot, toot. What multiplies to be -3 and adds to be -2? -3 times 1 is -3. -3 plus 1. D. Maria, excellent. So we didn't have a GCF to take out initially, so I'm just going to replace that with x minus 3 and x plus 1. And I am going to go ahead and set it equal to 0. What are my two zeros then? What are my two roots? When does x minus 3 equal 0? 3 and -1. Love it. X is 3 and -1. We're going to go to our graph at -1 and at 3. Those are my zeros. So what are we going to do? We're going to say, okay, it's going like this. Woo! But Asherado might have been like this. Whoa, I'm tired. Or Paxton might have been like this. Whoa. Any of those are fine because they all have the same zeros. This is what I'm doing. If Audie went like this, his would have had to have been a -x squared, right? And we didn't have that. So that's the one that we'd say good zeros, but not looking the right shape. Okay, this is a little funky now, people. Now we've got to say, where does this function greater than or where is it greater than or equal to 0? And that's saying, where is it above the x-axis or below the x-axis? Above. Because if for us saying, where is my h of x greater than 0, this is just fancy for y. Where are my y's greater than or equal to 0? Well, my y-axis is greater than or equal to 0 from this x-axis and up. Can anyone, for a cute little Nemo sticker, tell me where do you think this function is above the x-axis? Above the x-axis with that interval notation. Let me start with this. Is it above the x-axis here in gray?
Yes.
Yes. Is it above the x-axis here in red?
No.
Is it above the x-axis here in red over here? No. Is it above the x-axis over here in gray? Okay. Give me one answer to denote this in interval notation. Herb?
-infinity to -1.
Yes. -infinity to -1. Ooh, what should I have done at that -1? A bracket. How did you know that, Cole? Yeah, because it says or equal to, a bracket would be like a closed circle, and it means include. Your infinities will never have a bracket because you can never equal infinity. Infinity is just an idea. Look at this, Herb. That could fit on your calculator. I'm just throwing it out there.
Right. I have my little collection.
I made Klessa put it on the front of her calculator like a real dictator. I was like, you have to put this. And then, Cole, I defaced your folder with a large sticker too. So you gave us one. Cole, can you give me the other one? 3 to infinity. Around the 3, I'm going to put a bracket because it's at 3 to infinity. It equaled 0. That's so good. What if it was just greater than 0? It'd just be a parenthesis. Okay, so if I only give you a table of values, we don't have the graph, we don't have the equation, just a table of values. And I want to know, what is the degree of the polynomial? Is it a squared? Is it a cubed? Is it to the third? Is it to the fourth? I just want to show you this way to find out, which I think is kind of interesting. Find the degree of the polynomial just given these x's and y's. What you're going to want to first start with is, what is the change in my y's? What are we going up here?
+1.
1. What about the next one? 3 and then 5. Is that anything constant? Like, I see a pattern, but it's not going up by the same thing every time, right? So then do it again. Now what's the difference between 1 and 3? 2 and 3 and 5? 2 and 5 and 7? is that now going up by the same thing? So the degree of the polynomial that has these points is however many rows it took to get there. It's not because these went up by 2, that is a degree of 2. It's because it took us 2 rows to get there, that this would be a parabola. Does that make sense? So on this one, we'd say, oh, these points represent something to the 2nd degree or something squared because it took us 2 rows to get there. And then let's do the bottom one. Whoo! Without a calculator. We can do this without a calculator. What are we doing here? Subtracting 1. What are we going from 49 to 38? Subtracting 11. 38 to 5. We're subtracting 33. 5 to negative 62. We're subtracting 67. Negative 62 to negative 175. Subtracting 113. I love this mental math. Okay, do you agree we don't have a pattern there? Let's do it again. Negative 1 to negative 10, we're subtracting, I'm sorry, I gave the answer. Negative 1 to negative 11, we're subtracting 10. Negative 11 to negative 33, we're subtracting 22. Negative 33 to negative 67. Negative 34. You're like, ugh, I don't see a trend on that one. Let's do one more row. What are you subtracting to get from negative 10 to negative 22? Negative 12. How about negative 22 to negative 34? 12. So how many rows did it take us? Yeah, so what's this degree going to be? A good old cubed. So we'd say 3rd degree or cubed. Whew.